Hey students, I just wanted to take a quick second to just give you some last minute encouragement. Um, it's Thursday evening. It's about 8:15 when I'm recording this, May 14th, 2020. On this day in history, in 1787, the delegates gathered in Philadelphia to start working on the Constitution. And then also on this day in history in 1804, Lewis and Clark set out from St. Louis on their Corps of Discovery to check out the interior and the Northwest Territory, and they wouldn't come back to St. Louis until September of 1806. We've been on a journey this year. Tomorrow you're taking the exam that is the culmination of everything that we've done this school year, going all the way back to really last summer when I had you all start reading primary documents last summer. And when we set out for spring break, I figured we'd be out an extra 2 weeks, and then after that we'd be right back in the classroom again, and we would just pick up where we left off. And I never thought we'd be where we are right now. I'm thankful for College Board doing this modified exam. I'm thankful that they've made it possible for everybody to do this with the modified exam. There are some downsides to this. Some of you all, maybe your internet's a little unforgiving at times. Maybe you've had some difficulty in different areas, but I just want to encourage you to do your best. If you've been taking this time to study, some of you I just haven't heard from you. I don't know if you're okay, if you're doing all right, if you're seeing this stuff or not. Some of you have been rather communicative, and I've heard from you and gotten other ways to encourage you. But hopefully you are ready. Hopefully you've studied and that you have prepared. And so just wanted to go over something with you real quick here. Again, I hope you've looked over some of these things. I hope you looked over your note cards plenty. I hope you watched the Cram for the Exam thing that they did on C-SPAN. I sent you guys that video yesterday too. I found that to be very helpful. But really, really, really make sure you pay attention to this rubric. Okay, it's a lot different. It's a modified rubric, so they're doing some things different this time. First of all, that thesis. Okay, we've gone over how to write a thesis. Okay, X, however, A, B, therefore Y. That should be something that comes to you. By this point, it should be almost automatic, but I realize some of you still struggle with that point. And that is only one point, but remember, everything else hinges on the thesis. So the thesis provides the roadmap for everything else to follow. So you got to nail down that thesis, okay? If I were you, I would go through and just pick out something from a few different time periods tonight and write a thesis. Just go ahead and write one real quick and keep it handy. Who knows? Maybe they'll actually give you a prompt where you can use it, and there you saved yourself a few minutes. But it just helps to be able to do that. Remember, contextualization is pretty easy to get. Okay, broader context. Okay, you do that pre-context, that post-context. You can knock those out pretty quick. The evidence from documents. I know a lot of you have had some concerns about these things. Take a look at the example that I provided for you all yesterday, and that was something I did on the fly, just really quick. Was kind of thinking about that. Obviously, if I had more time, I could clean that up a little bit. But then I realized something. You guys don't have a whole lot more time either. 45 minutes is not a lot of time, and I think they realize that 45 minutes isn't a lot of time. So I know they're not expecting a polished, well-crafted 5-paragraph essay, but you've got to make sure that you at least hit the points, okay? And so when you're using these documents, integrate those documents in and use them as evidence, okay? Don't just merely refer to them or mention them, but actually use them. Evidence beyond the documents is really where you show that you've been studying, that you show that you know what you're talking about. Remember, the whole point of this exam is to make sure that you have learned something, okay? And we've spent plenty of time reading and learning, so don't forget everything, but don't panic if there's some detail you can't remember. Just a lot of times AP is really kind of looking at whether or not you kind of grasp the bigger picture. So just don't freak out about that. Just do the very best that you can, okay? Um, the outside evidence is again, really where you're going to shine. And then the last part, the analysis and reasoning. Okay, so for one document, one of those four, remember, you're going to use 4 documents. I think I accidentally told Brittany yesterday 3. You're going to use 4 documents, okay? At least use 2. If you've got time, use 4. And for one of those documents, explain how or why the document's what? Point of view, purpose, historical situation, and audience is relevant to the argument. You're doing a HIP, okay? We've done plenty of HIPs. So you're just going to kind of work that in organically, however you can do it. If not, do it inorganically, whatever it is, as long as it's in there, okay? Again, we're not, nobody is expecting a polished essay. If you can do that for a second document, that's great. Again, time management is going to be a huge challenge for you guys on this deal. So make sure that you're hitting all these points, but realize just how little time. And I really wish they would give you more time. But you know what? They didn't ask me. Okay, they don't consult me on these things. I'm not big time yet. Okay, and so lastly, demonstrating an understanding. So if you can show similarity or difference, or if you can show relevant connections across the time period, so continuity and change over time, if you can qualify or modify the argument, man, there's that last point there, which is probably the hardest point to get. But they're doing this on a 10-point scale, so they're grading it completely differently than what they have in the past. And it can either be to your advantage or to your disadvantage. So I'm not exactly sure. We'll see. We'll see how that's going to go. Okay. But I have the utmost confidence in you guys. We've spent a lot of time working on this over the last year. I know you're going to do well. Y'all are going to earn some college credit that you're going to get to be able to use, and we're going to be able to come back in the fall and share some stories from this. And I really look forward to being able to see you guys from that. I am planning on trying to do at least one more thing, as just kind of a final wrap up for you guys, but I don't want to detract or take away from the time that you have right now as you're preparing for this exam. I know you've had other exams, so again, not trying to take a lot of your time. I just wanted to remind you guys that I'm proud of you. I have a lot of confidence in you. I know that you can do this. You're going to shine. You're really going to do well tomorrow. And so just take that and run with it. And do the very best that you can. And just remember that I love you guys and that you're loved and you're never alone. Good night.